Hi guys. Today we're continuing with the food nutrients. And the last time we talked about the carbohydrates. But actually, I didn't go like in details with the carbohydrate, nutrients. But I gave you like just a basic information that you can that you need. And today we'll be actually talking about the proteins and also fat as well. So that's also the primary food nutrients. Let's talk about the protein. Protein, they're responsible for like growth and repair of of tissue, of the body tissue. So it's really important because if you think of this, you'll see that muscles, like muscles, skins, and nails, most are mostly made of like and protein. Protein also comes in different, like two type, like complete and sources of protein, and incomplete source of protein. Like the complete source of protein, we have animal products, you know, like fish, um, beef, poultry, and and also we have like incomplete, which is actually mostly plant based, like beans, peas, legume, lentils, cereal grains and wheat, stuff like that. So, and then the daily recommended intake or allowance, actually they're like from like 10 to 35 percent of the daily serving of your food. So, or what you eat daily. So, and then they have like energy density, per mass. So 1 gram of protein equal like 4 kilocalorie, which is actually a good number as well because the same as carbohydrate. And then it's also important because when carbohydrate is depleted, so in the body, especially when you're doing like like physical activity for a long duration, and then what happens is that you actually use your protein actually as source of energy. So use your protein to actually synthesize the adenosine triphosphate, the energy that you use. But before that, I don't want to go into detail. You have to transform that into glucose. So they have to be transformed, So there's another process. So I don't want to go into detail, just to tell you what is good for. So you need the food rich in protein to grow or to repair as well. Next, will be fat. But people always say that fat is not actually important or it's not good for actually your body. It is because formation like of like your membrane, for example, like of the cell membrane actually is fat. Like, the majority actually of the central nervous system and also the spinal cord actually not a fat. More the fat. So fat is really important. Also protect the fat also protect vital organs. The fat also store that under the skin. This is like insulation, provide insulation. So and also the fat actually can be used as energy as well. When the carbohydrate actually is depleted, fat actually can actually be used as energy as well when for long duration of when you actually exercise for a long duration, and then the carbohydrate that will actually was stored in the muscle or the reserve that was stored actually in the liver and everything. When it's all depleted, what happens is that the fat take your body will use the fat to actually produce the energy that you need, but they have to be transformed first, to be actually used as energy source. So yeah, so that's what and then also when it comes to fat, we have like saturated, right? Fat and unsaturated fat and trans fat. So the unsaturated fat, you have almonds, nuts, you have like avocado, fish oil, like fish normally, like, especially for from sardine, mackerel, salmon, stuff like that. So the oil. So also we have like olive oil, but saturated. You have like saturated come mostly from animal products. Like fish. You know like pork. Like poultry as well, pork and you know all this palm oil, coconut oil, stuff like that. So to actually have like a proper diet, it really, not just a balanced diet, but a healthy, you know, eating as well. You need to avoid certain, food, So there's one thing that I didn't talk about the fat. So when it comes to the energy density per mass, it's really high because 1 gram of fat equals 9 kilocalorie. So be careful when you try to calculate the calorie because we're going to get into that where we're going to start calculating calorie and everything. So just just know that 1 gram of fat equal 9 kilocalorie. So it's really important to know that because yeah, so to have a balanced diet, you need to actually make sure that the number of calorie that you get from the fat, you know, actually maybe it might be less or it depends on what is your target. Yeah, because some people just actually eat just healthy eating just to maintain the surface. Some people, eat, healthy and have a balanced diet, but also they associate that with physical exercise. So, which is actually a lot of demand because with that, it means that you want a result, you want something, mostly build muscle, lose weight, and then, so it means that you have to play around with all this calorie stuff and then but making sure that you actually get in the recommended, you know, doses, that you need for your body to function properly. So, yeah, so next time we will talk about, different things and then we will talk about calorie calculation. So I'll try to talk about calorie calculation. So because I want us to just move forward so that we get the basic understanding and then we start talking about actually food in general, like, stuff about food and then what you can, get, not get, and then how to pick stuff to get and stuff like that and what is actually essential, you know. And then also, I know when I talk, I tend to actually just jump, over stuff because I'm just, that's just the knowledge, right? So about the protein, there's something really important about the protein, like where because normally the protein actually store, like when they're breaking down, when the skin absorb, because they're breaking that into amino acid, right? When absorbed into the body. So the body naturally produces amino acid. With the 20 amino acids, they're like 11 non-essential produced by the body, and then 9 essential that actually you need that from the diet. So and then you need food that actually rich in protein to actually get the 9 in the amino acid. So and then also the fat actually is actually breaking down into fatty acid. So but there's one thing that you have to know is that the fat does not actually the fatty acid does not actually travel through the blood like this. So they actually packaged inside a structure called micron, you know chylomicron. So yeah, don't want to go into detail, but there's some stuff that if someone actually want me to talk about certain things in detail, so I can actually do it. So, but the thing is, I just want us to have like a basic understanding of stuff, so that whenever we go into the calculation of kilocalorie, we all set, and then so we have it like that understanding, of stuff, and then we move on from there. So stay tuned. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.